Welcome everyone. We are ready to begin with putting some walls into our shed project. And if we zoom in a little bit to this kind of finished view that's sitting on Bluebeam, we can see that we're going to need a couple different wall types. One is we need a wall type that's going to have some horizontal siding on it, and we're going to need a wall type that has some vertical siding on it. And in addition to that, we're going to use a different technique, or let's call it an alternate technique, to build this shed. And it has some advantages where the wall types get somewhat complicated. And so I just want to introduce this as an option for you guys. So let's go ahead and get started. We are going to need 3 different types of walls. What we're going to focus on first is the wall that's going to be considered the framing wall. So I'm going to navigate to my first floor finish, and I'm going to close out some of these other views. Again, just kind of keeping track of my tabs up here to stay organized. So if I need to build a wall, I need to go to the wall command, and I have this basic generic 8-inch wall, and I'm going to duplicate that thing. So edit type, and once I have my dialog box readable, I'm going to edit, well actually I'm going to duplicate this thing, and I'm going to use a 2x4 framing wall. So that's what I'm going to call it. So once I have that name, I'm going to edit the structure, and I certainly don't want it to be 8 inches. I'm going to be framing this shed with 2x4s, so I'm going to use 3.5 inches as the width, and I'm going to select a material, and my material is going to be, I believe, softwood lumber. So I just typed in SOFT, and softwood lumber comes up. I'm okay with all of the graphics options here, and I'll click OK, click OK, click OK, and I'm back into my drawing a wall command. So I have my basic wall, it's 2x4 framing. I don't want it unconnected. I want it to go up to top of the first floor wall, and its base constraint is the first floor finish. I want to draw to the core face exterior, and no offset is fine, and I want to continue to chain. So as I finish drawing one wall, I'm ready to draw the next. So all I need to do here is select the intersection of my grids, going around in a rectangle, and I have that wall complete. I'll navigate to 3D, set my view resolution. Set my view resolution to fine. 1/4 inch equals a foot, and I am going to name this thing. So that each time I go to a 3D view, I can go back to this 3D view, and the changes that I make stick. So I'm going to call this thing 3D standard. Okay. So if I choose realistic, looks like I have wood walls going all the way around. So just let's be clear that this is only the 2x4 framing. So in reality, the only thing that should be here is studs on 16-inch centers with a sill plate and 2 top plates. However, this is the way Revit represents this graphically. Okay, so back to first floor. So at this point in these videos here, I think what we're going to do is we're going to jump right off, and we're going to put some doors and windows in here. And only once all those doors and windows in are we going to come back and put what are called the finish walls that go on the outside of this framing. Okay, so let's do that. I'm going to put in a door, and I'm looking for a 72 by 84 door. So if I look down here, I see double flush and it's panels. Right, so basically blank wood panel doors seems relatively inexpensive for a shed, so I'll choose that option. And we want 72 by 84. Click OK, and I am ready to place this somewhere on my wall. I'd like it centered in the wall. It's really easy to find that center. Revit loves to snap to the center of the wall. I'll go ahead and click that into place. And notice, of course, when I do, then the door cuts the wall away, and I can see what that looks. I can see what that looks like in 3D. There's my door cutting through the wall. Okay, so I also am going to place some windows in here. So back to first floor finish, and I am going to take a check real quick, pause this, and see what size windows I want to use. So I brought up the assignment sheet, and basically we're asking for windows, at least 4 windows, 24 inches wide by 48 inches high. I want you to feel free to use windows of either different size or fixed or double hung. Feel free to be creative, but I'm going to use these 24 by 48s. So I'm going to use my window command, and I have the fixed window in here, and 24 by 48 is an option. So I'm going to place a couple on the front wall, and I'm going to place a couple on the back wall. Notice on these side walls. Notice that Revit gives me a great opportunity to center these windows on the walls left and right. I don't know if you noticed, but when I placed my windows here on the front wall, I really didn't pay attention because Revit's centering grip is trying to use the center of the door as one of my options. I'd like to have my window centered in the exterior of view of this wall, so that architecturally from the outside these windows are centered on that wall. I'm going to do that by moving my reference grips, and then when I have that in here, I can take and shift this a little bit, and I get Revit's really nice simple centering option. I'll select this wall, do the same thing, adjust my reference dimensions, and then adjust the windows so that it's centered. Okay, so I have 4 windows. They're all centered up. I look at this thing in 3D. Everything looks okay from here. And I think what I'm going to do is, again, we're just going to leave this shed with no exterior walls at this point, or finish walls. And in the next session, we're going to come back and we're going to start to put in the floors underneath. We're going to have a concrete floor that sits underneath the walls, also serves as the foundation and floor. And then we're going to have a landing pad that comes out from the front. And we're going to have a landing pad or storage area back behind our shed on the back, and it'll all be concrete. We'll come back in the next session of videos and put that together. Hope this is helpful, and we'll see you then.